Hi, it's Jana, the Queen of Eliminating Chaos, and today we're talking about, a culture of the customer is always right. And I want to talk about if you're a B2C business, how essential it is that you create a customer service culture in your organization, and what should you be looking for to gauge how your customer service is doing. And so one of the things I think you should do is consider how you as a leader are talking about customer services. Your employees are going to mirror your behavior. So are you discounting their complaints? Are you rolling your eyes? If you're doing that, then your employees are going to be mirroring that behavior. So you can do a quick gauge of how you're doing. But you can also evaluate if your employees are empowered to make things right for a customer. Do they have pre-approved methods to resolve issues? And then the other thing I would say is, you can't prove what you're not measuring. And so are you measuring and tracking your customer service, and what trends are you seeing? So I want to share with you how I handled customer service issues when I took over leading a technical support desk, and it was labeled, the helpless desk. And so when I moved in there, customer service was obviously an issue. And so we did a couple of things. First and foremost, I established a culture where the customer was always right. So I did this through, like I was referencing before, my actions, regardless of what I personally or professionally thought about the complaint, the customer was always right. And secondly, I created a safe place for my managers and let them know just because we received a customer complaint didn't mean we did anything wrong. That was their perception of the service, and we needed to just investigate whether there was something to do or not. And so those two things started shaping it. The next thing we did is we created a very simple process for the managers to follow, and it looks something like this. Acknowledge and validate the customer, ensure the issue that they called in for was resolved, and if it wasn't, take care of that ASAP. Let the customer know they would investigate it and get back to them. And then behind the scenes, they logged the issue, they did their investigation, which for us was listening to the recorded calls. And then every week we reviewed customer complaints, and they came and said, here was the complaint, here's my investigation results, and made a recommendation. So the final step to close out on that was just to email the customer and say we investigated it and we took the necessary corrective action. That didn't mean anything needed to change. We just validated the customer, we did our due diligence, we followed up with them, and that was our simple process. And so want to leave you with a couple of examples and some quick things about how that could shape differently. We had a person in HR send us a complaint because the analyst wouldn't reset another employee's password without going through the verification process. They were super upset, but not resetting that employee's password without verifying was the right thing to do for the company. So we didn't tweak anything there, right? So we acknowledged the HR person, but we didn't make a change. On the flip side, if you have somebody complain that an analyst was rude, then that's a coaching opportunity with the employee. And so you have both things happening. So it's really important to track and see what your trends are, because just because you're getting complaints, that doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing.